KC's Audio Vault.
Mark Tremonti of Alter Bridge and Creed, February 23rd, 2011. Hey, Mark, how's it going?
Hey, how you doing? I'm doing well.
What's happening today? You talking to a bunch of Canadian radio stations?
Just 4. Not too bad of a day.
You've got a few U.S. concert dates in April and May. Any plans to take Alter Bridge up here?
We're probably looking at August and September for hitting Canada. I think we're going to do another U.S. run and then hit a couple of the markets that we can get to then.
What's keeping you busy until this next tour starts?
Right now I'm working on a solo project. Actually just met with my producer last night and went over songs, and I think we're going to start tracking on the 20th of next month.
Wow. Are you hoping to have that done before you take off in April with Alter Bridge?
Yeah, well, I'm hoping to have all the drum tracks done and all the song arrangements so I can get right back to writing Alter Bridge and when I get on tour here.
The focus, I guess, is Alter Bridge and the solo, but is there another Creed album on the horizon? You looking that far ahead?
Yeah, well, that will be next year. We're going on a summer tour, hopefully next summer, and then we'll look at doing some new music at the beginning of the year. It'll be good to have new music for a tour.
Sounds like you've got the next couple of years mapped out.
Yeah, we got to plan ahead.
With albums, like, overall not selling as well these days, where does most of the money come from for you? Royalties, touring?
Mowing my neighbors' yards.
Paper route.
The music business is tough nowadays. You're got to count on live ticket sales and selling T-shirts.
It's kind of rough because Creed, when you guys got into the game, you were just millions selling CDs, and it's just everything's gone digital, and I guess the financial side of the music business has changed.
Yeah, I think you just have to try and find other ways to make a living and get creative with it. I've done an instructional guitar DVD and trying to get into working on some TV stuff and just staying busy.
Have you added to your guitar collection lately?
I have. Well, they're just more Paul Reed Smiths. I just got a baritone the other day. Because with the solo stuff I'm doing, I have a much lower voice, so I have to tune stuff down to B, and that's in baritone range. So I have one of those, and PRS actually just sent me a Stradivarius, violin guitar, which is a beautiful guitar, and those are my two newest ones.
What's your centerpiece? What's your most prized guitar?
My most prized, geez, I don't know. That's a tough call. I've got a guitar that Stevie Ray Vaughan played, which would probably be that. Yeah, or that, or my very first, signature model PRS.
Do you have any other collections?
Guitar-wise or amp-wise, or
well, I had read somewhere that you're into pinball machines too.
Yeah, I've got about 12 pinball machines. That's takes up half my house here, and of course I collect guitars and amplifiers. Kind of an amplifier junkie. That's about it, man. I try and stick to the guitars.
Do you have a games room and then the guitar and amp room?
Yeah, I have a studio in the house, and I have the game room. We don't spend as much time in the game room anymore, but now that we have kids. But once they're tall enough to play pinball on their own, we'll spend some more time in there.
You got the name Alter Bridge from where you grew up in Detroit. What was on the other side of that bridge?
Actual Detroit itself. I'd lived in Grosse Pointe Park, and Alter Road was the border between the suburbs and the city, and the change from block to block was just very different. You went from a nice little neighborhood to a drug-infested wasteland, from a couple blocks over. So it was the street that kids weren't allowed to cross where I grew up, and there was a bridge going over the street that people used to jump their cars, and we called it, Alter Bridge, and that's where we came up with it.
Were you a well-behaved kid?
I was. My two older brothers weren't as well behaved, but I stayed out of trouble.
Was music the obvious path for you when you were younger?
Yeah, I mean, ever since I was a kid, I had friends with older brothers, a couple of them that played guitar, and I'd hear them in their rooms, and I just wanted to go in there and check it out. And of course, you're the young kid; you're not allowed to even touch it or see it, and it just made me want to play more. And when I was 11 years old, I finally actually bought my first guitar for $10 off of my buddy who was upgrading his guitar, and he started showing me how to play a little bit so we could get a band together, and that's how it all began.
What kind of stuff were your brothers into? Is it like the metal era back then?
My one brother, Dan, was into heavy metal. He was into Metallica and Venom and Wasp and all the stuff that I'm into now. And then my other brother was more into the glammy side of stuff, the Kiss. He was into Kiss, Ted Nugent, and then when the '80s came, he was into all the bands that the Cinderellas and Poisons and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Well, most of those very well-renowned guitar players in there. It's a good place to start for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think early on, Ace Frehley was kind of when I was a kid and didn't know anything about guitar, you'd watch him play, made me want to play that Black Les Paul. So. What
was the first tune you learned to play on the guitar?
Probably a 12-bar blues, and then one of probably the most difficult early songs I learned how to play that really established my fingerstyle playing was Call It Cthulhu off the Ride the Lightning record. I think that's how you pronounce it, Cthulhu or Cthulhu.
Yeah, I think that's it. That's an obscure one to get your feet wet in.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're now in Orlando. The climate a little bit more your style than Detroit?
Right now it is, but the summertime it gets brutal here. As bad as the winters are in Michigan, the summers are down here in Florida. So it's I'd rather be hot than freezing cold.
So you take the kids to the beach. How old are they now?
I've got a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. We're in Central Florida, so we live on the water on a lake, and then we don't even get on the lake too much. But we'll just go outside and play football. We don't really go to the beach too much.
Are they into sports, music, video games? Are they leaning in any direction at this young age?
My 5-year-old was into the drums. He got really good at it, and then he hasn't been practicing recently, and he definitely loves video games. He'd play all day long if he could. But my youngest one is I think he's going to be a mechanic or a car racer. All he cares about is cars. That's it for them.
So where are you at today? Are you at home?
Yes, I am.
I thought I heard some birds chirping in the background.
Yeah, I'm just in the backyard doing some interviews in sunny Florida.
Not bad, and you're talking to us where it's minus 30 outside in the middle of the prairies in Canada.
Nice.
Well, Mark, I appreciate getting you on the phone today. The Alter Bridge album's out now. You got a tour going through the States and hopefully more in our neighborhood a little bit later this year. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
All the interviews you want on iTunes and at Power97.com. Casey's Audio Vault.
Casey Norman is Power 97's music director and can be heard every weekday from 2 till 6 in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada.
Power 97 is Winnipeg's best rock.